Yeah.
So we
We're
were...
not supposed to get a job there.
They own like a bunch of companies.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the fact that, right, Olam Haba here is described as the intellect. So meaning you can technically live in the future world or in this world. That's what the Kabbalah says, the Ramchal, that you can have a taste of the world to come already in this world. Everything depends how you think about the world, and right. So people are able sometimes to unplug like in the Matrix. Unplugging from the Matrix is really meditating and entering the real state and getting a glimpse of reality, which is the world to come. So this is the fear of one who actually, speaking about the fear of, not the fear of trembling, but to be in front of God, the experience of being in front of God. So this is the fear or the awe of one who actually perceives, and it is double the fear of one who merely has experienced love or awe. So meaning the intensity of what you experience when you are there. So sometimes you can meditate and get a feeling of tremendous awe, and sometimes people get scared because we speak about love and awesomeness and awe. So when you speak about love for someone or the awe of someone, the awesomeness you feel for someone.
You say owie, that's the way it's spelled.
The awesomeness that you feel about someone, it's only a glimpse of what the real experience with God is, right? So we don't know until God gives us the true taste, right? It's like fantasizing about the ice cream, chocolate ice cream. You can show that when you taste the full flavor of chocolate ice cream, now that's powerful, right? Okay, there's a difference, okay? So that's what he's saying. Don't think that the love you feel here is the same thing as the love of God. The love of God is much, much, much beyond. I guess if you feel the full love of God, or full presence of God, you can almost die. That's what happened at Mount Sinai, where it says that all our souls left our bodies because we got sucked up in that love, like a magnet. The love was so intense. So imagine you see someone and the person is just so beautiful, and you feel you love them, and you just want to jump on them, and you feel like your body is going there. It's like, whoa, I'm not. I gotta control myself. I gotta propose first, right? Yeah, you have to have self-control. Okay, so we're speaking about something intense, meaning the whole idea is to get a real taste of the spiritual one God, and everything that we experience in life is all a glimpse to taste the real thing. But obviously it's super intense. Your mind must then come to join his mind, which gives you the power to think. Your mind must divest itself of all other thoughts other than his thoughts. This becomes like a partner joining you to him through his glorious, awesome name. Okay. And there's a whole technique about how to breathe and make movements and what I pronounce it, but we're not going to do that now. In any case, if you see any image before you, prostrate yourself before it immediately. If you hear a voice loud or soft and wish to understand what it is saying, immediately respond and say, "Speak, my Lord, for your servant is listening." Do not speak at all, but incline your ear to hear what is being said to you. So here, we're speaking on a very high level. I don't think any of us is going to experience that anytime soon. But again, our goal eventually is to become prophets. Now, it might sound a little bit like, sectish or a bit like scary. Meaning the power of the true power of a human being is to become higher than angels. Meaning we have the soul. Our soul is
like Neo.
Like Neo, right?
You have the potential, he's like saying.
Right, we all have the potential, and the whole idea is to unlock the potential that we have in us.
How long does that take, though?
It depends on every individual.
Yeah, right?
Like,
what's the highest point, though? That's very subjective statement.
Well, it never really ends.
You know what I mean? It's subjective, kind of.
Right. Yeah, we all
different people.
We are different people, different. So we all start at the same level, so to speak, but your soul might be higher than mine. We just don't know it. We never use it. It's like, we all have a car, and we all drive the same way, but I have a Lamborghini, and the other guy has a Lexus, and the other one has just a Toyota. So We just don't know the power that's in the engine. Yeah.
And the magnitude of the soul, is that chosen by a person?
No. But it's a consequence of your previous lives. In Judaism, we believe that your soul, like in Buddhism, that your soul never dies. So your soul keeps
goes
coming
on.
and in this body to accomplish its mission. So based on what you accomplished in the past, your soul gets higher and higher. But you don't know how much you accomplished already in the past.
Do you know when it gets higher and higher, though? That's
Well, if you're very aware of the way you live, you're gonna kind of feel it, and you see that you grow.
That's kind of true, because when you do wrong, you feel bad about it. But when you're on the path to do the right thing, you feel like better.
Right. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
What's not clear to me is that if that's the case, and you are a result of your previous incarnations, if the Jewish people as a nation attain like a degree of prophecy, so much so that it's like a pretty high degree at that point after like the sea split or whatever, or when they were at Mount Sinai, how come each and every single generation they didn't have people, like for example, how come I'm not a reincarnation of a soul whose potential is at the point where it was during at Mount Sinai?
Very good question. I would say because maybe the very high spiritual stuff, some of the stuff we have already achieved, but but like simple things as controlling our basic desires. Those are the most difficult parts. Like the physical thing or our ego, like almost everybody gets angry still, right? So I think we all still it's almost like, I would say the things that you probably have to work till the last day of your life is ego. Maybe Moshe Rabbeinu was the only one who was the most humble man on earth, probably didn't need to come back to work on his ego. But all of us. So I would say the last.
Thanks for chiming in.
So I just want to make sure you know.
The last things. So sexual desire is very strong, and one of the hardest to control. And ego, which has to do with anger, and that's why and arrogance. So all these are almost the most difficult. So we come usually back to finish up the soul. And whatever you have done in the past is stored. You can't affect it.
So I get rid of my sexual desire?
No, you don't. God doesn't want you to get rid of your desire. He wants you to stay very human. So you're supposed to redirect your desires. So it's not like, that you can't sleep with every girl in the world. It's just that you have to choose one with who you're going to sleep and create something beautiful, right? So God doesn't want you to waste your desire. He wants to take your desire to stay human, but direct it in a way that is constructive.
What about anger?
So anger...
It's a mix of emotions.
Right. But basically anger, the idea is the more you understand, anger is a direct consequence of understanding that everything in this world is a vessel. Therefore, there is absolutely nothing that happens in the world that is not starting from above. And therefore, if you understand that everything that happens around you is directed by God, then why should I even get angry? There's no room for anger in the world where everything is God.
So anger, you're saying it comes from a lack of control?
Yeah. It's even so much lack of control, a lack of clarity of which world you live in. If I'm constantly aware that right in front of me, what's happening is orchestrated by God, then what? You get angry at God? That's what I'm saying. It's like, God, why you do that? You're allowed to express that even. When we have a relationship with God, but to what degree, So you have to direct the anger. I don't think you should necessarily destroy. You can't go, if you get angry, you say, oh, I'm not angry right now. No, you have the anger there, right?
What about...
So you have to, but you have to take the anger and say, okay, I'm upset there, but it's because I have a lack of clarity. And, God help me understand it because I don't understand it and it upsets me. So that's the way you redirect your anger. Instead of throwing your phone down, right? You have to redirect in a way that is healthy, and we have different ways. Some people listen to music, some people and to dissipate and getting self-control. It has to do with self-control.
What about situations you can't control? Like, there's situations in life you can't control that like directly affect you.
So then I would say the word frozen.
Yeah.
Let it go, let it go.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to let forces that happen, and
It's easier said than done.
right, 100%.
Yeah.
I've been preaching an ideal.
This
That's
is yeah.
not the, but we're all working on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's actually from another guy who used to come actually here, who was afraid. He says, if you feel great terror and cannot bear it, meaning the intensity of your meditation is so intense, then you prostrate yourself immediately. Somehow prostrating yourself is a sign of complete humility, or you make yourself very small, and of complete, it enables to, I guess, removal of ego. It's like sensitivity and humility. So you prostrate yourself immediately, even in the middle of pronouncing a letter. If you do not see or hear anything, do not use this technique again all that week, because that means you're not ready. If you go to meditation, he is speaking of meditation of techniques on how to breathe and movement of the head, how to pronounce the vowels. Meaning, eventually I was thinking of reading that book with you. It's a book by Rabbi Tzadok, and it's a book really that is very deep. It really goes in, it prepares you on how to start meditating on a very advanced level, and I felt like it gives a very good introduction. So maybe after we finish with Hussein, we'll start with that book. It gives a lot of great advice. Okay, if you feel that your mind is unstable, that you know your knowledge of Kabbalah is sufficient, or that your thoughts are bound to the vanities of the time, do not dare pronounce the name, lest you sin all the more. So you have to, again, know yourself, and you should always try to never give up, to go into meditation as much as possible, and things will happen with time. But obviously, the more you purify yourself, your desires, what happens when you control your desire, you have more control of your thoughts, right? And therefore, you'll be more pure in your mind, and it'll be easier for you to not be bothered by thoughts that comes from the body, not from instead of from the brain.
Why this process? Why any of this?
Why any of this? Because it all has to do with how much you want. You want it. It's like a marriage. Why the whole marriage ceremony? Why the whole dating? Why the ring? Why all the clothing? Let's just make love all day and that's it. Right? Because in order to enter into a high level of relationship, there's a process, and for that process to be successful, it has to work with the desire and the want. But to show that desire and want and grow in it, you need to go through the process. That the process enables you to express the desire and want. The more you want it, the more you desire it, the more you love it, the higher you'll be able to grow, and you'll go step by step. But it's really all that. How much do you want to know God? How much?
How much do you want to know what?
God.
God.
How much do you want to feel that you have a soul? How much do you want to see the Matrix? It's really all that. It's all how much you want it. And if you have it's the Mesilas Yesharim. Say that if you want to know true perfection, or know God, Yirat Hashem, the real Yirat Hashem is like you have to seek it for, like you look for silver and precious diamonds. You have to want it crazy. Like you wake up in the morning, it's like, I want to know God, right? And you go to sleep, right? I hope I get to know God. Like it has to be a desire. You have to be in love with God.
Do you feel like you know God?
A little bit.
Because that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Or is it like you just feel like your process of doing things helps you get more towards?
I think I understand better.
Yeah.
How life works and what I'm supposed to do towards God and how God reacts towards me. The essence of God, I don't think I understand anything yet.
Right.
But you can get glimpses.
Like in a physical world, you don't.
Right.
But you feel very connected to Him with
yes,
Judaism.
Exactly. So, for example, when I feel love for someone,
yeah,
I believe I'm experiencing a taste of what God is. But and the goal is to have as many experiences in this world as possible, healthy experiences, that will give you a complete picture of who God is. And the more you show God that you want it and you want to get closer to it, the more He's going to reveal things to you.
Yeah, so
on
true.
The emotional and
true.
So it's all makes sense. There's nothing crazy. It's like it's a system of like a ladder. So when an individual completely enters the mystery of prophecy, he suddenly sees his own image standing before him. He becomes totally unaware of his own essence, as if it were concealed from him. Then he sees his own image standing before him, speaking to him and telling him of the future. Isn't that interesting?
His own image meaning like his own picture or himself?
I think his true essence. I think he's speaking about if you go into your mind, there's something, it's almost like astral projection, when you can technically go out of your body with your soul and look at your body from above.
I had that once when I
Is
was
that
9.
Right. When we're younger, it's easier to experience it. What?
That's the whole point of meditation, out of body experience?
No.
To get in touch with God?
Oh, yeah, yes. The whole point of meditation is to be aware of the matrix of the reality. So some people call it chi, right? Just Tai Chi, all the Qi Kong, all the Qi things. Qi is basically energy. It's as if you say, I want to see the atoms around me. I want to be able to see the photons and the electrons going around me, the strings theory that goes around me, the vibrations. I want to see the vibration when it comes out of my mouth and vibrates in the world. So all this is part of God. We're in a system that God put in place, and God hides in the system.
Who is God's God? Who is God look up to?
None.
Okay.
I don't know that much about this.
Right.
So interesting.
God is almost like you said the theory of everything. God is everything. God is
right.
reality.
That's what she was telling. My
right.
sister was telling me.
God is reality, and the goal is to try to enter into that reality. I have an experience with that's what we call in Ein Sof.
So God's not like one person.
No. The definition of God is that God is beyond anything that we can imagine.
You can't even describe what
you can't
it
describe.
is.
It's like
Creator.
it's like
Okay.
Right.
In science and physics, there's a concept, energy, where you'll ask Einstein or the greatest genius, maybe your Rabbi, what energy is. They can't describe to you what energy is. There are forms that energy manifests itself in, like heat, energy, this energy, that energy, but energy in and of itself is indescribable.
Mm.
And where is energy? Energy is everything and everywhere. And how is energy made? Energy can't be created or destroyed.
Right. There was just right, constant. And you have also dark matter and dark energy, which is very active. Like most of the world is made of. It's so amazing because we call it dark energy. It's like God is hiding there, guys. Why is it dark? Because God has to hide Himself. But most of the universe is made of that dark energy, and it's moving. Mm-hmm. The world is moving. So it's interesting that's the way in science they describe it.
By the way, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you're here, once every week. It's nice. I really feel like, it's amazing. But you go 5, 10, 15 minutes later, I forget about everything after the night.
Well, you don't have to forget about everything.
Let's say a day or two. There's only so much I can hold on to whatever it is that's going on here.
That's why you should meditate every day. Ideally. That's why you have prayer. Why in Judaism you have to pray 3 times a day, every day of the week. Because prayer is meditation in Judaism. We don't look at prayer. We think like prayer. Oh, I open the book and I read a few verses. Okay, God, you love me. You're happy with me. Okay, yeah, I can. I did my obligation. That's not what praying is. Praying is, God, I really believe that you exist, and I really believe I can change the world by having a relationship with you and by asking things for people, and you can download more energy in the world. So you pray, and you're entering. When you pray, you make the 3 steps of the Shmoneh Esrei. You're entering. The way they describe it. This is the 4 worlds. Asiya, dimensions. You have Asiya, Yetzira, Bria, and Atzilut, which is different, like consciousness state or dimensions, so to speak. So we do 3 steps before we pray. 1, 2, 3, and we're supposed to imagine that I'm going from the physical world, which is the world of Asiya, physical world, into the spiritual world of Yetzira and the spiritual world of Bria, and then in Atzilut. Mm-hmm. Right? So meaning I'm entering into entering different dimensions. It's an automatic meditation. It's like with mind we meditate and we also close our eyes and try to feel the energy coming down. So at the beginning it's hard to imagine the energy and feeling the energy, but if you do it every day, then you just have to take 3 steps and basically you feel connected right away, right? So same thing with prayer. You're supposed to do the 3 steps and enter directly into that state of consciousness where right away you feel connected. And if you do it 3 times a day, you won't lose it.
I have a question.
Yeah, let him finish and then I'll...
It's just they're like, when I go out in the world, there's so many people that want different things, material things, and that influences me.
Right. So you have to do what the Baal Shem Tov says, that you have to be constantly attached to God in your thoughts. Every second when you're standing in line or when you speak with people, you have to be aware you're not just speaking with people. You're on a mission quest, and everything that is happening around you are messages, tests, or opportunity for growth. So again, whoever I meet, I say, why did I meet that person? Right? So you have to ask yourself, you have to be conscious, you have to have the reason I change the way I change, I believe, is because every second of my, not every second, I wish every second, but every minute I used to be constantly asking myself, okay, now I'm learning this. How am I coming closer to God by learning this? Okay, now I'm speaking to that person. How am I coming closer to God by speaking to that person? Okay, and I'm going to college, sitting in class. How am I coming closer to God by sitting in class in college? And as that, meaning you have a constant, you're always connected, right? Your Wi-Fi, you're directly connected all the time, but you have to be aware. The moment you stop thinking about God, like the Wi-Fi got cut, or it doesn't go very fast, right? So you have to be constantly asking you. And people think it's intense. Yeah, in a way it's intense. And that's why people feel in Judaism, like, wow, I have to think of God all the time. Take your time. You get there, step by step. The baby doesn't start, eating meat until 2 years old or whatever. Right? So yeah, you have to step by step grow, and then get used to think all the time of God. But I believe, to me, this is the stage I reach where whatever I'm doing, I feel I'm constantly thinking of God. It's like I'm going in my car with God. I'm going to work, I'm going to go with God. When I walk in the street, God is next to me. I don't get the concept I'm alone, right? So, I don't know if I'll be able to do that all the time, but this is really what's in my thought all the time. So it's a meditation. That's why for me, my whole life, it's a meditation, one big long meditation. But sometimes you meditate about Miami Beach and and Dominican Republic,
Everybody has the right to do that, right?
What?
So that everybody.
Yeah, we're normal.
Have to enjoy life.
Right, you have to enjoy life. But even if I think of Miami Beach, I say, God, it's such an awesome place.
Right.
So I'll connect everything to it.
Can you be at one with God though? Do you have to, you seem like you're very connected to God. How do you get to that level though? Like you said, so Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
So how do you start? Because I know you.
Right.
That's
so I started mostly by by reading a lot of books.
Yeah.
I used to hate reading.
Yeah, same.
Right. Okay. So you have to read things that you're interested. The mind only remembers and attracted to things that you're interested. Or I use a lot of science fiction movies as well. I love science fiction.
With the nature.
Right, exactly.
Can you do that without reading Judaism though?
No, because you're going to be limited in what you can imagine. Judaism enables you to read the script of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's really what I realized is like the way I perceive the world. I live in the movie right now.
Right.
I'm the star of the movie, of course, because it's my movie.
Yeah.
She's the rock star. She has on her T-shirt it says rock star. Kim, she's always here to help me change the world. And Mordechai is the coin.
Shouldn't you still be your own person though? Like you said that you like feel what other people's opinions are changing what you think in like the physical world. But don't you feel like doing your own thing and being your own person is gonna like benefit you?
No,
and it's hard not to get. I know what you're saying. It's hard not to get affected by how other people think, but it always feels good to like be your own person, type of vibe.
Yeah, I think that's what he wants. But he's saying
it's hard though. I know what
how you deal with the challenges, and you have to be a very strong self. That's the thin line between
you get affected
being open to the world, like humble, and at the same time being close, have a barrier of protection, and be really strong-minded and not gobble everything. So the way I do it, any books I read or anybody I hear, I'm very open-minded, but I filter everything. I used not to filter, say, oh, everybody's nice, I love everybody, you know. It is destructive to do that. That's why a lot of rabbis were against people reading philosophy. Because unless you have strong mind and you're grounded, the philosophy can bring you to upside down and in the wrong places. So works of philosophy were reserved for people of very high caliber, the top rabbis. So you have to, if you really know who you are, if you really know your path, and you become comfortable with that and strong, then if you allow yourself to be open, but you say, I'm going to filter everything I read, everything I hear, then you will learn to question everything and see what's the Torah or God's perspective on it, and then you'll be fine.
Makes sense.
Right.
So it's not more like following rules, or is it following like rules?
It's not rules.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's guidelines to living the best way, living life to its fullest potential. We don't see it that way. We look at it as rules and restrictions, but it's for the best.
Because I don't think it's anything like everything you're talking about kind of makes sense.
Right.
Because I'm not too connected with Judaism, and I want to learn more. But you're the way you're explaining it kind of makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but
like more people.
I agree. No, but that's the problem.
But I don't know if I could get into like I.
Let me put it that way. Listen, I started becoming religious at your age when I was 20.
Right.
Okay. And the thing that I learned is there's two types of Judaism. There's a Judaism that is destructive because it's filled where the way it's looked is as rules, and I have to do this, although God is going to punish me, and I'll be happy. What?
Is that called something?
Religion.
Yeah, it's called religion. And Judaism is not a religion. Judaism is a relationship with the divine.
Right, I know it's called religion, but I'm saying, isn't there different types of like names for that, like the way?
And you can say religion. Like a doctrine or like a indoctrination or like I don't know. I call it robotism.
Like a robot.
Right.
Yeah, because I do this. God is happy. I pray.
What's a bad example of that? Can you give me an example of like?
Just prayer. Just the way I saw it. Like, God said you have to pray every day. Oh, okay. So I take my book and say, God say pray. Okay, I pray. So I read it.
So that's more like rules, pretty much.
Yeah, that's rules.
That's like filtered life.
That's right.
Is what it is.
Yeah. The goal is to look at those rules. The Zohar in Kabbalah doesn't call the commandments as rules. They call it advices and tools. Which means that God created tools for you to use to become a human being. To the best you are, exactly. So it's all a matter of perspective. Unfortunately, the way it's taught is very often without spirituality and without juice in it.
I'm really trying to understand.
Okay, good. It's a step-by-step process, and then but as soon as you start feeling that trapped, in a prison or you're confined, there's something wrong with the way it's taught to you, or the way if God created or gave you tools or religion, it has to be that it's the most pleasurable way to live. It's a way of living that makes you feel expand and growing and feel great about yourself.
But there are people out there who aren't that religious. Like, I don't know how religious.
Right, because it has
Tony
nothing
Robbins
to do with the garment.
That's a great example.
Who?
Tony Robbins.
Oh, I know from them, but I don't know him.
Or like friends I have that aren't that religious, or they're sort of religious, they're
right.
Jewish, and they have I don't know, they just live like a great life. They're not that religious, but
right.
they just aren't positive people.
Yes.
I guess that relates to Judaism, but they're not exactly following it by like.
Right. So some people are more attuned to be good people and
right.
generous and giving. The difference between the Jew and the non-Jew, so to speak, is the Jew that takes the responsibility upon himself to make a difference in the world and to influence the world to become a better person. But not talking just about a better person like, oh, I'm a good guy.
But a better person by reading this, a better person in what way? A
better person in a way that it creates. I would say, the most important thing in the world is really unity. Mm. Are you able to create unity around you and push people to be more united? The person who can do that is the most religious person in the world. That's really what it's about.
Right.
The problem, look at the world. Everybody's killing each other. Mm-hmm. There's no respect, there's no tolerance, there's no humility. It's all full with ego. So
but how do we do that?